I'd like to thank the grace of heaven and the virtues of the masters and mercy and compassion of grand predecessor, transmitter, temple masters, lectures for giving me this opportunity to talk about today's topic, which is chapter 8 of the Tao Te Ching. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So chapter 8, the title, well, you know, the title that we choose is it says 落水 or be like water. Okay, be like water. Okay, 弱, become like water. Okay, that's a famous line that Bruce Lee also said. You guys remember? But anyway, um, okay, and so there's a alternative title too. It says 七善, which means literally seven. It could be translated as virtues because san means goodness, but she's san. There's seven virtues, of the water. Okay, all right. So okay, so that so basically you get an idea that what this chapter, Lao Tzu was, trying to hint at. He's saying that you know, um, as human beings, we should exhibit, or yeah, exhibit the qualities of like water. Okay, of like water. Okay, so emulate the qualities of water in our in our conduct, in our behavior. Okay, all right. So that's pretty much okay. And as a matter of fact, that's why it's, the alternative subject or theme of this chapter, the seven virtues. It's because there are you know and you're gonna find it in this chapter. There are seven qualities. Okay, seven qualities, seven virtues of water, which you will find in Appendix A. Okay, all right, all right. So let's start. First line is the highest goodness. Right, the highest goodness resembles is like water, and water greatly benefits mirrored things without contention. Okay, so all right, so okay, the first word san. We should know that it means high, highest, upper, etc. San. Okay, now san has lots of meanings. Okay, but in this case, I mean, yeah, it has double meaning as goodness. Okay, goodness in what sense? Okay, it's in this. Okay, it's it has a virtue. So that's why san, goodness literally means goodness, of course, but also it's a virtue. It's some kind of virtue. Okay, some kind of positive trait or good improved characteristics. Okay, characteristic that we would cultivate, that you would strive for. In other words, okay, all right, and then the second goodness, it means it's something that's you can say that's yeah, and you can say it's innate or something that's being talented or highly skilled. Something like something masterful, something it's effortless, graceful, frictionless. Okay, so it's something that could be innate. Okay, I mean that the first trait is basically it's something that we could improve, that we could strive for. Okay, the second one is more like something that's it's innate, it's already given, it's already there. Okay, all right. Okay, so the third word, luo, means it's like, similar to. Okay, so the basic meaning of it, it's it's an idiom. It's based on an idiom. Okay, it's a Chinese idiom. Okay, it says the greatest or the highest goodness is like water. Okay, so it's an idiom. That's an idiom. Okay, this first four words. Okay, so the implication is that, as I said, in my intro to the subject, or to the chapter, to the main theme of this chapter, is that to be a good person, in order to be a good person, we should emulate, like water, the characteristics or the qualities of water, or display the good characteristics of water, because the water does not refuse or reject anything. The water, which I'll get at later when we talk about the seven qualities. But the water does not refuse or reject anything. The water accepts all things without preferences. Okay. One example is that's why the water, for when we, well, in chemistry, they talk about as it being the universal solvent. They call it universal solvent, or a solvent or solution, because water, you can, I mean, except for oil, obviously, oil and water don't mix, but you can create all types of mixtures or solutions. There's the difference between the two. Technical, I don't want to get into it, but it's that's water based, right? That's everything that's water based versus oil based, etc. Okay, so water is like that, the universal solvent. Okay, all right. So then, okay, in the second phrase, okay, right here, okay, it's the first three, second phrase, 水善利. It just means that literally water is a good benefit. It benefits greatly. Okay, benefits, yeah, greatly. Benefits very well. Well, okay. So the fourth and fifth, we all know 万物, right? 万物, which means okay, it just means all living things. Now, literally means 10,000 things, but it just means all living things. Okay, and the meaning of the last three words of the phrase 而不争, that means do not contend, but it does not contend, or without contention. Okay, and we talked about non-contention in previous chapters already, right? Okay, especially chapter, I think it's chapter 6, right? Chapter 6, but I believe it's chapter 6. We talked about right. Chapter 7, selflessness. Chapter 7, we talked about okay. I think chapter 2, or doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. Just it's a very how can I say, it's a very it's an innate trait of the Tao, of Buddha nature. Okay, that there's no contention. Okay, all right. So the basic meaning of the line of this whole line. Okay, you can say there are two in two respects. Okay, one is we should have a positive effect or benefit. We should be be of a positive benefit to everybody around us. Okay, to the people around us. And then the second meaning is that we should not get into petty conflicts. That's do not contend. Okay, non-contention. All right. Okay, with any, because it's really a waste of time. Okay, it's not worth it. Okay, the higher understanding is that the Tao, it's like it's like water that because that's the highest goodness, right? It benefits all things because it does not have disputes with anyone. Okay, the Tao has the qualities like water which benefits it without contention. Tao is neutral and non-dualistic. Okay, so that's what the basic understanding is. Lao Tzu was using the water, the metaphor of the water as being highest good to sort of like describe, like one of the characteristics or traits of Tao is like that. Okay, it doesn't contend. It doesn't have biases or preferences toward things. Okay, just like water just flows or accepts everything, right? Dirt, everything, right? Everything doesn't matter. Okay. Okay. The key point is this: as Tao cultivators, we should try to emulate, right? That's important. Okay, we should emulate the qualities of Tao, which is like the good qualities of water. Okay. Now then the second line is 处中. It says it stays in places that people dislike. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, 处, the first word means place. Okay, so the first word means location, place, or spot. Okay, a location. This 众人 just means everybody. Literally means many people. It just means everyone. Okay. The fourth word is 子, means of, this, that. Okay, the meaning of the last two words of phrase. Okay, this is we pronounce normally it's but this pronounces u. Okay, pronounce u. It means that which is disliked, right now, detested, loathed, people who don't like, that which is to be feared or ashamed. Okay, so it's not, normally this word means evil. It means evil, bad, stuff like that. Okay, not good. Okay, but this time it doesn't mean that. Okay, because it's pronounced ooh. Okay, not okay, all right. Okay, so basic the meaning of this line is okay. Now, what he said. Okay, what the translation says. Then it, meaning the water, that goes to places or remains in places that people generally don't like, dislike. Okay, now based on the words of the original, now there is no explicit indication that, oh, that means, how can we infer that people dislike the lowest places? Okay, because okay, because that's what the inference you could get from the sentence. But we can infer on on Lao-Tzu's intent by the following. Okay, that, well, we all know that water tend to flow to the bottom, right? Right. I mean, it doesn't go up. It doesn't flow upward because there's gravity, right? That's water. Gravity acts on water. Water is how can I say? It's a liquid, so it doesn't stay in one fixed place unless it's at a at a place that's that has nowhere where the water has nowhere else to go, right? Okay, so that's why water tends to always go to the lowest place, or I guess in physics they would say to the lowest potential energy state. Okay, anyway, all right, okay. So then the second inference that we can make is that by occupying a low place means having no need to be the center of attention. The metaphor for being humble or non-self without ego. All right, yeah. When obviously, right, when as people, right, whenever be in any organization, et cetera, right, we tend to focus attention more on the top, right, not the bottom, right? Okay, so same thing, all right, same idea. So we can infer that based on both in society, of being in a low place, and also in how water behaves, it infers that people generally don't like to be in a low position, within this in society, etc. Okay, all right. Okay, so another meaning of the line is that it's this. That's what Lao Tzu is trying to get to. That there is this thing called the Tao of humanity. Of humility. Humility. Okay, now, yeah, humility. So most people. Okay, so the Tao is humble, just like water naturally flows to lower places. Although people may dislike certain places, water does not have preferences. It's neutral. Okay, same like Tao. Okay. Now, most people, everybody, and I think a lot of dictionaries, I think all dictionaries would would define humility or humbleness, or meekness, right? Meek, meek, meekness, as a opposite meaning of arrogance, as the opposite of arrogance. See, that's a common misconception. That most people, if we look it up in a dictionary, right, look up the definition of arrogance and the definition of humility, we think that they're opposites. They're completely opposites, like night and day, or yin and yang. Okay, so now that's a misconception. Okay, now the deeper meaning is that, and here's why: the real opposite of arrogance is not humility, but self-degradation and self-debasement. Okay, all right, okay, and here's why: because arrogance is about being what? Being me. It's all about me. I, right? The I. I get all the attention. I'm the center of the attention. I'm, it's only me, right? It's all about me, all about oneself. Okay. Now, so the opposite of self-centered, okay, uh, uh, all about me, okay, or seeking attention, it's not humility. That's nothing to do with humility. There may be some, how can I say, overlaps, okay, but it's not, okay. So what's the opposite of being self-centered, attention seeking, and all about oneself? It's this. It's self-abasement. You you can say self-deprecating, right? Shame of oneself, right? Self-punishment, you can say, or dismissive of oneself, or self-dishonor and self-hatred. These qualities are opposite of what's this, right? All about oneself, right? Make sense now? Okay, because all about oneself. So If you're shameful of oneself, you definitely know all about oneself, right? So anyway, okay. So that's what it is. Okay. Now, so what is humility? Okay. So the Tao of humility actually is really the path of moderation between the extreme vanity, which is arrogance, right? Self-centered, attention-seeking, and disgrace to oneself, self-design, See? So that's why the humility is not, it's really not the opposite or complementary, they say, right, of arrogance, right? Because so that's why, you know, we cultivate the cultivation of the Tao is about being humility, humble. We say, oh, that means it means not being arrogant, which is true, but it also means not being what? Self-abasing or shameful of oneself or dismissive of oneself, etc. It also means, so that's the middle way. Get it? That's the middle path. Okay? So that's the real middle path. So people ask you, okay, how should we cultivate Tao? You say Tao humility. And if they say, oh, isn't that the opposite of arrogance? They're wrong. That's wrong. Okay? So that's a very important understanding that we should understand. So because don't forget, this Tao is neither extreme, right? It's not arrogant, nor is it self dishonor, etc., right? Okay, so it's in the middle, which is what? Tao. Okay, all right. So the higher understanding is this: is that humility is the true middle path. It is between these two extremes of arrogance or self-centeredness to um, self abasement or dishonor, self dishonor or disgrace, etc. Right? It's in between the two. That's the middle path, right? Okay, that's the middle position, if you will. Okay, so it's okay. So so between what two extremes? It's this: overzealous on one hand, right? Overzealous pursuit of external recognition. That's arrogance. Okay, that's a, you can say that's symptomatic of arrogance. Okay, all right. So if you're arrogant, you always need this. You always need to be validated. You always need some, people to recognize you, etc. Okay, all right. The other extreme is this, and this is very important because most of us, a lot of us, when we cultivate, we think by being meek, this is what we should do, or by being humble. It's to active avoidance of attention, or even around due to complete lack of time. That's not right. Okay, that's not right. That's the other extreme. That's the other extreme of arrogance. Okay, and we should avoid both. We should not have. We should definitely not have arrogance. That's for sure. Okay, but we should also not have the second part, right? That we want to hide. We want to run away because why? It's not because a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm humble. I'm humble. I'm I don't like attention, so I like to hide. I like to be in the back or run away or not do things or not take the initiative or whatever." But mainly, it's not because they're humble. It's not that's their rationalization. But mainly, it's because they lack confidence and they lack self-respect. That's so we got to be careful. Okay, we shouldn't fall into this. All right. Okay, so that's why that's there's a reason why we cultivate. We have to learn, right? One of the first steps of cultivation, we have to learn and study, right? The principles, the sutras, the classics, etc., etc. Why? Because then we would have confidence. We would have confidence in, oh yeah, this is what the Tao is about. Oh, this is what Buddha nature is about. Oh, this is what the principles are. Blah blah blah. This is what the negative traits are, or what the extreme two opposite extremes are that we should not follow. Okay, so that's why. So therefore, that builds up our confidence, right? Okay, so all right, okay. So the implication of this line is this: is that if we understand the virtuous nature of water, 体会水的德性, that would be the most ideal in this physical realm. Okay, 在凡这是最圆满的. Water will not strive to outdo one another. Okay, 水不会争先恐后, right? Okay, does not contend. Okay, thus the virtuous nature of water is very great. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, and so the key point is this: is we should not chase after or run away. Chase after or run away from things. Okay, we just observe, calm and detached, and take action when necessary. Okay, so similar to, right, Diamond Sutra, or what Buddha's teaching, or it's that we respond to matters when they arise, right? 事来则应, and return to stillness. Our mind return to stillness. That's what I mean. When things go away, right? Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, all right. Then the last part of the second line is 故知与道. Okay, so therefore, 故 means therefore does. Okay, it is similar to the Tao. Okay, that's what it is. So 记, in this case, it means this. It means almost similar to, close to, practically like. Okay, that's what it means. Meaning last word means with regard to Tao. Okay, or with respect, or towards. Okay, with respect. Okay, so the basic meaning of that line is the mindset described above is like the Tao. The mindset above, up here. Okay, these. Okay, okay. The path of moderation between the extremes of arrogance and dishonor. Okay, so that's the Tao. Okay, so another meaning is that this path of moderation is the characteristic that results in the greatest good that benefits oneself and others. Right? Okay. The higher understanding is that the characteristic of our path of moderation is this. Okay, is that we stay quiet and remain in the back, not because we lack self-confidence or self-respect, right? Okay, not because of that, but because we don't need to seek attention, right? Okay, we don't need to seek recognition. Okay, even after doing something great, for which most people will be looking for recognition, acclaim, and praise. Now, this in the back, we talked about in chapter, I believe last week, right? Chapter 7, right? Chapter 7. Okay. so, uh, yeah. I think it's chapter 7. Chapter 7 or chapter, yes, chapter 7, verse, let's see, 1, 2, third line. He's talking about how the sages place themselves last, but end up in front. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh God, I'm thirsty. All right. So that's what. Okay. All right. They're not in the back because they lack self-confidence, like I said. Okay. All right. So key point is this: if we have the highest virtue of water, right, 善上水德, then we are actually with the Tao. We are the Tao. We embody the Tao. Okay, because that's how the Tao's, you can say, innate traits are. Okay, the innate trait. Even though we say the Tao actually is at the highest level, right? And I think it was in chapter, we talk about it in chapter 6, right? The valley spirit, right? Never die. It's, or even chapter 5. Okay, before that. Okay, that it's empty, right? It's empty, or it's the void, right? It's the void, right? That's chapter 5, right? 守中, that means to keep or abide in the Tao, in the void. Okay, all right. But it has its, how can I say, its manifestations, if you will, or applications, and that's what we're talking about now. Okay, it's if it were to manifest, this Tao, then you can say it has those the traits of like water, i.e., the virtues of water. Okay, all right. Okay, now comes so these are these first two lines, okay, or sentences, if you will. Basically, Lao Tzu sort of like set the tone, okay, or introduce, okay, there are certain, the Tao, the highest goodness of the water is like the Tao. I mean, or the highest goodness resembles like the water, and yet it is and it is like the Tao, okay, or similar to the Tao. Okay, now he describes the 7 qualities. Okay, now we're coming to the 7 qualities or virtues, right? Virtues of the Tao. Okay, the first virtue, water. Okay, water. Okay, is this. 居善地. Okay, 居 literally means to live, to reside, or to occupy a certain position. Okay, in this case, it means to dwell. Okay, to reside as well. San in this case, right, it means good. See, san has a lot of definition, as it could be an adjective or it could be a noun. Okay, okay, and a verb too. Okay, so okay, so as an adjective, it would be good, proper, satisfactory. Noun, it would be goodness, virtuous, or benevolent. Or benevolent. So that's an adjective. Or a verb means to improve or perfect. To perfect. Okay, so in this case, it just means good, proper, satisfactory. Okay, so literally means land, ground, position. It just means location or place. Okay, so the basic meaning is this. Okay, the water naturally occupies the lowest position. It's used. That's the metaphor for the Tao of humility, which we talked about, right? Which is okay, all right, which is not the opposite, but it's the middle way, the middle path. Okay, all right, okay. And then the additional understanding is by being observant, or aware or mindful. You can say mindful, aware, and acting only when appropriate. It appears as though the cultivator always shows up at the right place at the right time. Huh. Very interesting. I'll go into that a little bit more detail in one at the other quality. Okay, another quality. So the deeper meaning of the phrase is the best position is the lowest. 居善地就是居在最底下. Okay, just as the water always flows to the lowest position. All right. Okay. So, and it's being this. Okay, it's similar to what we talked about. It's kind of like a refreshing of what this chapter 7 last week, which is the topic is called selfless. Okay, being selfless. All right. So, or impartial, if you will. Okay, so it's similar to that. Okay, it's similar to that idea. So it for being selfless is the natural quality. It's the natural quality or innate, maybe it's better way, of our Buddha nature, which is the best position for Tao. Okay, so we have to be very. It's basically non-ego. Okay, selfless. All right, that's the you can say fundamental quality. Okay, or innate trait of our Buddha nature. All right. Okay. All right. So that's the first quality or virtue of water. Second virtue is is feeling with great depth. Okay. Yeah. So feeling. Okay. Even though. Okay. Well, feeling with great depth. Okay. That's how we. Because we want to do it with beginning of each line or describing each of these 7 qualities, beginning with a verb. Okay. And verb and then verb, adjective, and noun. Okay. All right. Okay. So okay. So first word, xing, we all know it means mind or heart. But in this case, the connotation is feeling. Okay. It's a feeling, to sense, to feel. Okay. And then second word, san, we say it, remember it was good, proper, and all those words. In this case, it means great. Okay. In this context. So, and then the last word, yen, right? Yen, yuan. It means abyss, a deep pool or something. Okay, a deep pool. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So, all right. So, what this second quality is talking about is that let's get to the basic meaning here. Okay. This line is that there is a deep, extreme depth of feeling, okay, such as deep sense of compassion. Okay, that's what this phrase means. That that like one of the virtues of water, because water runs deep, right? All right, could be very deep, right? So that sort of like it's a metaphor for us as human beings, how we have a depth of feeling. Here's even more. Another meaning just means another extreme depth of character. In other words, we're not shallow. Okay, the Tao. If you're cultivated with Tao, if you follow the Tao, you're not a shallow person. Okay, superficial, shallow. Okay, all right. So the deeper meaning is this. It's these are metaphors now. Okay, the water, metaphors for the water, for the qualities of water or virtues of water. It also means a generous heart and mind, or magnanimous and forgiving, accommodating, All those words, okay? Accommodating, forgiving, magnanimous, generous, broad-minded, you can say, okay? All that, okay? So the implication is this. Our Buddha nature manifests itself as a what? Very generous, magnanimous, forgiving, 很有包容, just like the deep ocean, which can accommodate everything, right? So the deep, right? The depth, right? The deepness, okay? Deepness of the water. So that's another metaphor of our, you can say, quality of our Buddha nature or the trait, when it manifests itself, right? Okay, because, Buddha nature is invisible, right? Intangible. Actually, it's indescribable, but it can manifest, it can display, you can say, display. And what it displays is, in this respect, in terms of depth of compassion, right? The deep sense of compassion, generosity, magnanimous, forgiving, etc. All right? Okay. All right. So the key point is this. Our minds can be deeply accommodating. We need to learn the mind's great benevolent depth, okay, which has great capacity. These qualities are the applications of functions of our Buddha nature. Okay? We have to learn to be like that. We should learn, obviously, not to be arrogant, right? That's the first quality. But another quality is that we have to be generous. We have to be accommodating. That's why we say, we have to forgive others, right? We should not bear grudges, right? Right? All those, right? And these are how we want to, some of the applications of our Buddha nature. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So that's the second quality. Third quality is this. Okay. It's giving with great kindness. Okay. So the meaning of the first word, yu, okay, it means to give. It could also mean and, okay, okay, but that's a conjunction altogether. But it also, as a verb, it can be a verb, okay, which means this, okay, to give, to offer, to grant, to take part in, to participate in, etc. But in this case, it just means to give, right? Because we're on a verb starting with each quality, right? So it gives, right? Okay. And the second word, okay, san. In this case, it just means great, okay? Okay, in this context, it just means great, okay? And the last word, third word, zen. Right? We know that this is one of the five constants. Remember, five constants of our, according to Confucius, or virtues. We call them five constants or virtues of our of our true nature, right? Self nature, right? Which is same thing as Buddha nature. So it's benevolent kindness, right? Okay. So that's why this is also, let's see, sorry, it's one of the constants, right? So that's why the title, right, or the subtext or subtitle is what I call it, of this chapter is also called the seven virtues, okay, or seven constants, okay. One of them is being this, okay, all right, okay, or benevolence or humanity, okay. So the basic meaning is this: benevolent, giving nature like water, okay. Now, okay. Now people say, oh, how can the water be benevolent? How come, we have floods, we have tsunamis, how can that be benevolent? Okay. Okay. That's because of circumstance, i.e., if you build, or if you live or build a house or whatever in a very low-lying area, okay, and if that low-lying area is prone to floods, well, it's not the water's fault, okay? that you're gonna have flood if there's a lot of rain, or or the tides, high tide, low tide, etc. Okay, all right. Same thing with the tsunami. The tsunami is not, how can I say? It's a natural phenomenon. They did all natural flooding, all natural phenomena, but it's not because the water says, oh, you know what? One day I'm going to have to create a huge tidal wave and I'm going to sweep everything away from the coast. Okay. No, it's because it's caused by either, we can say earthquake, or generally it's earthquake, or they call it landslide, rock slide, right? When the mountain, slides off into the ocean, creates, an impact, and that creates a wave, right? Or, okay. So So that's not the water's fault. The water doesn't do it that way. It's because there are other causes that causes the water to be so destructive. Okay, in this case, flooding or tsunami, etc. All right. Okay, but the very innate nature is that okay, the water. What? Let me ask you: can all living things live without water? Obviously not. Right. So it's the same idea. Okay, by nature, we all need water to survive. Okay. All right. Okay. So another way is saying is that it's giving is about now we're talking about giving now. Okay, giving, you know, how the water gives, right? Gives. Okay. It's about a constant steady flow, more like a stream rather than a torrent. That's important. Okay, never too much, but always present day after day. Okay, time after time. Okay. Water, okay. we need water, but not too much at once, at one time. Obviously, then when you get flood, it's like, right? Example, I think most of us have this experience. Let's say we went for, went for a while for, let's say, I don't know, a few hours, maybe, I don't know if that's possible now, but for a few hours without drinking anything, and our mouth and throat feels extremely dry and thirsty, right? Then when it comes time to, we have some water now, we can drink, do you chug down a whole bottle of water? Maybe some people do. I don't know. It's fine. But generally, just a little bit is enough, right? A tablespoon, a cup or so is enough to quench that thirst initially. You don't need to chug the whole jug of water. Okay, all right. Okay. So it's a steady. Steady does it, right? Steady stream does it. Not, you don't drink from we drink we drink a cup at a time. Example. Okay. We don't drink from a fire hose, right? Okay. All right. There's no need. Okay. All right. As a matter of fact, you'll probably choke from that. Okay. Drown from that. Okay. All right. So here's another understanding of this phrase is this, right? We should be giving benefit. We should be giving to benefit others just as water benefit people. Okay. 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 Like, but it's a steady stream, not all at once. Okay. All right. Like irrigation for farms, right? I mean, we're not farmers, but I think, we've seen pictures or we've seen stories where what if you're a farmer and you're growing a crop like in your back garden, I think we know you have to water, right? Water the plants or the crops, right? But you don't flood it, right, in one day and say, okay, that's enough. I don't need to water again. No, you have to do a little bit at a time, day after day, right? At least during the growing season, right? Okay, same idea. Okay, so this is similar to charity, the notion of charity, giving with great kindness. You can say, yeah, charity. All right. you know, you know. Now, this charity doesn't mean that we give necessarily. We have to give money and all that stuff. It just means that every day, we have to give. We're giving, okay, with kindness, as in charity. So we do. You don't just say, oh, I do it once. I fulfill my quota of charity, for my life or whatever, or for this year. Okay. That's not how it works. Okay. Charity can be given day after day. Okay. All right. As a matter of fact, it should be. That's a natural function. Okay. Just like the water, right? Water, we drink water day after day, right? Water, give water to benefit, right? People or living things day after day. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's the charity of the sixth parameter. That's another understanding. Okay, of the charity. Okay. So the key point is this: water does not refuse or reject anyone. 水都不拒绝. That means to reject, to reject, to refuse. Okay. Water does not refuse or reject anyone. It just displays its benevolent character. Okay. Likewise, the essence of Tao, our Buddha nature, just displays its innate qualities unconditionally, right? It has to be unconditional. That's why when we give charity, it's also unconditional, right? Okay, not because you're my favorite, so therefore, I'll give you more charity or stuff like that. Okay, all right. So same idea. Okay, all right. So that's the third. Okay, now let's go to lot to go. Okay, fourth. Fourth quality. It's yan san xing. Okay, so it means speaking in this. I mean, yan. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Speaking with great integrity. Verb first. Okay. So meaning the first word yan. It can also mean word or speak as a noun, but in this case, it's a verb. Okay, to speak, to talk. Okay. San, in this case, it's also great. It just means good, great. It's an adjective. Okay, we have to use an adjective in this case for san. Okay, for benevolence or goodness. Okay. Then the last word, xing, it's a noun now. Okay, so xing can mean faith, trust, confidence, integrity, etc. It could also, be a verb, but in this case, it's a noun. Okay, okay. So the basic meaning is just like this. It just means we speak the truth. Okay, like a calm pool of water reflecting the surroundings clearly. Right. Okay. All right. So the water, okay, when it's calm and it's undisturbed, right, just like our minds are undisturbed, it reflects everything clearly, right? Clearly. Okay. All right. During the day, you can see if it's clear to the bottom, or depending on the angle, of course, it also reflect the surroundings, right? You can see the mountain reflected in the lake, or the trees, the rocks, etc. Right? Same thing. And then at night, it reflects the moon, right? Clearly. So okay, all right. So another understanding of phrase is this: by maintaining a calm mind, we can be composed and calm in speech. Okay, so that's why I say you have to be calm, right? You have to be calm. Our minds have to be still. Okay, not be full of all these extraneous thoughts or motives or all that stuff. Okay, feelings, etc. Okay, that's why, for example, I think all of us have similar experiences, right? If we are very agitated, right? If our mind is very agitated, or our feelings, or we get very emotional, right, etc., it is very difficult. Or maybe let me step back. What we say, oops, could be bad, okay, or could be not what we really want, okay, or could have negative consequences, right? So if we're overly emotional, overly agitated, what we say may not, what comes out of our mouths may not be proper, okay? May not be correct, right? That's why we always have to what? Calm our minds before we speak, right? Before we speak, all right? Because then that will be reflecting the truth or integrity, okay? Whereas if our minds are agitated, or if we're in a very emotional state, right? It could be very happy or very sad, okay? Either way, okay? Or very angry, etc. Okay, then what comes out will not be what? Reliable, or will not be accurate, or will not be true, okay? May not be true, okay? So that's what integrity means, all right? Faithful, okay? Trustworthy, okay? So the higher understanding is it's another understanding, okay, from another direction is water, although it can't speak, it maintains its integrity or credibility, you can say, because why? The ocean water's high and low tides are regular and predictable, right? The 海水就是涨潮跟退潮，right, 都有一定的时间。That means there is a, how can I say, there is a natural cycle or rhythm, right, to the tides, right? So, you can calculate now, right? Depending on the moon's position, the earth, the moon, etc. You can predict with with a high degree of accuracy, exactly in which part of the world or ocean or coastline, when there's going to be high tide, when there's going to be low tide, right? Okay, so it just means that water behaves, in this case, or the tides behaves predictably, right? Or with regularity. Okay, so therefore you can be trusted, right? So we know, okay, yeah, okay. So that's the metaphor, okay? So the implication is that, yeah, speeches or words that come directly from our Buddha nature is always true and reliable, right? Not from our ego, or not from our emotional state, etc., etc. right? Okay, those words, those kind of words are not reliable. And also, example, you know, when two people are falling in love, oh, they're so emotional, right? They're so emotional. They're in a very deep emotional state. The words that they're gonna say are saying, "Oh, I love you forever." So long, longer than the mountains. Deeper than the oceans, etc., etc., etc. That's speaking for our emotions, right? Now, that emotional state could change. 30 years later, after getting married and kids, well, guess what? You may not feel that way toward each other anymore. So our emotional state can change, right? Right? Can change due to current circumstances, conditions, etc., etc. Okay? All right. So then those words are not 100% reliable or are not, they call it permanent or impermanent. Okay? So we have to be careful, right? Rather, our Buddha nature is always true. It's always true. Okay? Honest, you can say. Honest, true, reliable, etc. All right? Okay, so key point is this: as stock cultivators, we must maintain integrity. Okay, or maintain such as in our speech. Okay, so that's like water. So we have to be like water. Okay, then the the fifth is this: it's governing with great administration. Now it's like, okay, all right. So the first word, sun, yeah, it means to govern, or it could be the verb means to govern, to rule, to lead. As a noun, though, it could mean government and politics. But since we're using it as a verb, it just means to lead, to govern. Okay. The last word, 字, okay, it means noun. Right? It's a noun now. It means management, administration, etc. Or control. You can say control. Okay. Or governance or rule. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So, so it means, actually these two words, okay, 政治 in Chinese means politics. But anyway, okay. So the basic meaning, there's an external. Okay, there's an external, internal. But okay, let's do the external. It means we want to be leading people in any kind of setting, family, workplace, community, society. Okay, so just generally means so. There's an internal though. Internal is that we want to have some kind of control of our life. Okay, meaning that how we organize it, manage it, and run the details of our life. That's so once with respect to you individually, and the other respect to others. Okay, to a group setting. Okay, all right. Okay. The other understanding is this: is that we we need to have a vision, if you will, okay, of our future, or setting a direction or a plan, executing that plan and adjusting the plan. Okay, these are all basic. Okay, understand. The deeper meaning is this: is that water can control itself, just like the water can control itself. Okay, uh, what do you mean by control itself? It can flow to whatever it can move. You can say move. It'll fill up a space by itself. In other words, if you dig a hole, a ditch, right? As water comes through, water will naturally fill up that ditch. Okay, right? Or if you dig a canal, water will naturally flow along that canal. Okay, all right. So just as water comes, a channel is naturally formed. So I think that's an idiom, right? 水到渠成. Okay, yeah, that's an idiom. Okay, it just means that also we can control how the water flows. Okay, so just like water, we can administer, manage, or govern ourselves, both internally and externally, properly if we follow our Buddha nature's guidance. Okay, so that's what it means. Okay, so that means that our right. Remember, these are some of the qualities or virtues of water that it can govern. That means it can control. It can by itself. With great, you can say, skill. Okay, it does. Okay, so similarly with our Buddha nature, we can do the same. Okay, we have similar qualities. Okay, or characteristics. Right. All right. Okay, so we can control. We can administer. Okay, lead, etc. Okay. The sixth, the sixth quality or virtue is handling with great capability or ability. You can say, okay, ability, capability. Okay, So the first word, 是, now, it generally, it's a noun. It's used as a noun, right? It just means things, affairs, worldly affairs, okay? So in this case, we're just saying dealing with matters, okay? Dealing with worldly affairs, okay? That's a verb. Then the last word, it means ability, like I say, or capability, okay? All right. It can be a verb, means to be able to, okay? But in this case, we're using it as a noun, all right? Okay. So the basic meaning of the phrase is this, okay? It depicts our Tao cultivator in the following ways, okay? There are three ways, okay? All right. Okay. First is remember, this has to do with dealing with things, right? Okay. So a sage, okay, actually all of us, we are always in touch with people, with others, okay? We work amongst society, okay? Okay, this is very much like what Confucius said, okay, or his philosophy. So we're not isolated, okay? We're not cultivators that cultivate in some mountain cave in the boonies where there's nobody else around, okay? That's now, people say, oh, that's opposed to what Buddhism does. That's actually Buddhism. Buddha doesn't, Buddha did not taught that method too, okay, as a matter of fact, okay, all right. But anyway, so as a matter of fact, that's why Buddha has the Sangha, right, which is the community of Buddhist monks, okay, or monastery, you can say. But we're going to say, oh, but that monastery is isolated. Uh, it's not isolated for that. Buddha does not want his disciples to be isolated from people. It's just that they wanted a quiet place, a holy, quiet place where the Buddhists can cultivate properly. Okay, that's the main reason. Okay, but anyway, or one of the main reasons. Okay, but does not mean that Buddha does not did not emphasize or does not stress that that you should isolate yourself in a cave individually to cultivate. Okay, all right. So that's number one. Number two is it's dynamic and active in the sense that there's no indifference or apathy, no going with the flow as an excuse. Okay, in other words, people say, everything should be laid back, right? Isn't what Lao Tzu said? You do, what's that? You achieve everything by doing nothing, right? That's a very, how can I say, very bad misconception or misinterpretation of Lao Tzu's teaching. Okay, they say, because they use the word wu wei, which it will come up in future chapters, but we already have in the, I think, chapter 2. Hopefully you remember, right? That wu wei does not mean that you don't do anything. Doesn't mean that. Okay, all right. Okay, it means the better interpretation of wu wei means it's non-conditional. Okay, which means it's an absolute state. You're not biased. You're not, you don't have a dualistic mindset, or meaning good or bad. You do it for good, or you don't do it because it's bad. It's not that. Okay, it just means it's non-conditional. Okay, so that means there's no indifference. Oh, that's the way it is. So who cares? It doesn't matter. So that's why you have to be careful. Don't fall into that trap. Okay, all right. So so that's having to do with dealing with things, right? Okay. The third one is it's if we do it with what quality and excellence. Okay, because we don't do a, what do they call it, in Chinese called mama hu hu, means so literally means horse and tiger, something like that. Yeah, horses and tiger. Okay, it just means horses and tiger, they don't mix, right? They don't really mix. They don't get along, right? I don't think so. It just means so. Lackadaisical, or lackadaisical, or you can say mediocre. Okay, you can say it means mediocre. So no, we do things properly, and you do it well. So you do it well, quality, and you do it correctly. Okay, all right. So, all right, okay. So, another meaning is this: there are versatile capabilities that water can handle. Okay, water can exist, for example, as a gas, right? Steam, or as a liquid, water that we drink, and as a solid, or ice, right? Okay, so that's just very interesting. That it has different, you can say, uses or application, or you can, do different things. Okay, so another understanding is this. It's based on this. Okay, okay, is that there are different states of water and how it can be used, or right, or okay, and water as a gas, water evaporates and forms cloud, making rain possible. It allows for creation of steam powered machinery. That's how we got our industrial age going, right? Okay, or industrial revolution. Okay, as a liquid, it conforms to any container. It penetrates. It can cut through objects under high pressure and dissolves as a universal solid. It allows hydroelectric power. That's how we can get green energy, right? So, we don't have to, okay? All right, so that's how we generate, if you go to, what's the nearest dam here? Niagara Falls. They have a power plant there that uses the falling water to generate electricity so that we can use. Also, water can penetrate through very hard rock, right? People in construction use that. They have water jet that's pumped under high pressure. It's better than using a metal or diamond coated blade to cut through, granite or solid rock, etc. Okay, all right. So that's okay. So water has another use as a liquid. As a solid, as temperature gets lower, water will freeze, right? And it can what? Allow us to have a fridge, right? In old days, we don't have a refrigerator. They use blocks of ice, right, to preserve food, right, etc. Right? And also during the summer when it gets too hot, we drink water with ice cubes, or that's cool, chilled, etc. Right? Okay. Or ice cream, eat ice cream. Okay. All right. So the key point is that since water can be versatile, right? It's versatile. It can exist both as a gas, as a liquid, and as a solid. It also benefits humans, right? Okay. Likewise, the Tao is very, very flexible or versatile. Sorry, very flexible, and can be used to benefit. Okay. It just means that Tao is very broad. It's not limited. It's actually unlimited, if you know, right? From the previous chapters, we already know that. Okay. All right. Okay. The last virtue. Here it is. It's acting with great timing. Okay. So the first word, don't, means to change, to move, to act. Okay. It can also mean as a noun too. It can mean movement. Okay. But in this case, it's a verb. Okay. The last word, it's a noun, right? It literally means time or season or period. Okay. So what the meaning of the phrase means that the action is most effective when it will do the most good. That means it can't be too soon or too late, right? It just, you can say, perfect timing. So it acts with great timing. Okay? All right? Okay. All right. So timing, another understanding is that. So therefore, in all our actions, timing is extremely appropriate. It just means that we do things in the appropriate circumstances, in what's proper. What's the proper circumstances, right? Appropriate circumstances. You do it when it's proper, right? Right? You don't, how can I say, let's say, you don't celebrate something, during a funeral, right? Right? That's not proper, right? That doesn't fit the circumstances, right? And also, you should not be sad, or one should be sad or gloomy when we're celebrating, let's say, a birthday or something. Okay, so same idea. Okay, so timing is very important. Okay, so this other um, another understanding, higher understanding, is that water can transform to different states, right? Remember, based on seasonality, remember, or timeliness. So rain only happens when there are enough rain clouds, it's dark clouds, right? 乌云集在一起, okay, 聚起来, all right? Right? It's only rain will only occur when we see a lot of dark clouds, right? It's not going to occur, right, in a sunny day, right? Right? Okay, like today, I think it's pretty sunny. Yeah, there's some clouds, but they're not enough dark clouds. Okay, water can turn into ice only when the temperatures are low, right? For example, during the cold season, winter. Similarly, water will only turn to vapor or gas when there's sunlight evaporates, right? Okay, so it just means that there are different times that water can be used, right? During different times, okay? So the key point is this. Okay, water changes according to seasonality. Okay, so there's a cycle or timeless to the manifestations of nature. Okay, so when we act, when we conduct ourselves, we also have to conduct ourselves according to the proper circumstances. Okay, or proper timing. Okay, proper timing. All right. Okay. Okay, or timeliness. Okay. All right. So those are the seven virtues. Okay. Let's see. Should I talk? Okay. Yeah. That's okay. Let me finish this, and then I'll review the seven virtues. I think we're almost. We're already. How much time do we have?
Probably about 20 minutes.
That long? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Okay. So the last sentence is this. Okay. 夫为不争，故无忧. Right. That's pronounced yo. Okay. Yo. Okay. Okay. All right. The first word is fu. It's meaningless in this context. I mean, it could literally mean this. Okay. Man, husband, this, that person. Okay. But in this case, it just means it has no meaning. Okay. All right. Wei means this. Okay. It can mean only, alone, but, because of. Okay. All right. Then the last two words of the first phrase is 不争. It just means not to contend, not to strive, not to fight for, not to vie for. Okay. All right. Then the second phrase, the last phrase. Okay. Second word 无. Okay. That's just means no, without. Okay. No, not, without. Okay. And then the last word 忧. Okay. 忧 means this. Okay. It just means fault. As a flaw, defect, mistake. Okay. All right. So this is a noun, right? Okay. Wu, in this case, it's a adjective, I guess. Adjective. Okay. Okay. So the meaning of wu yo just means this. Okay. It's faultless. It's flawless. It has no mistakes, no defect. Impeccable, you can say. Impeccable, right? Impeccable means perfect. Okay. All right. Opposite of flaw. Okay. Not flaw. Okay. So the basic meaning of this phrase means that there is no fault in water. Okay. There's no blaming it. No reason to complain about it. Why? Because water does everything with impartial detachment or non-conditional. Non-conditionality. It does not contend with anything. Remember going back to the very first phrase, right? We say that the water is what? That the water is benefits everything without contention, right? Benefits mirror things or all things without contention, right? That's the very first sentence of this chapter. Okay, all right. So it just goes back. Okay, we fix that. Okay. Also, another understanding is this. Okay, since water does not refuse or reject or contend or argue, its virtues are faultless. Because it's easy for people to contend and strive, right? We do that all the time. Okay, then many more troubles and vexations will arise. But to water, there is none because they don't contend. They don't reject or refuse. They accept. Remember, right? They are deep. They can accommodate everything. Okay, all right. It doesn't strive to be better than somebody. It doesn't seek attention, right? Okay, so that's another understanding. Okay, so the higher understanding is this. Okay, our Buddha nature does not contend. It has no self. It's non-attached, non-dualistic, unperturbed. That's the true I, the unperturbed, ru ru budong, right? We talked about. I mean, it's not mentioned specifically, but we talked about that. I think in last week's last chapter, right? Last week. Okay, ru ru budong. It just means it's unperturbed, or it's not. It cannot be moved or influenced. Okay. Okay. All right. So, that we talked about in chapter 6. Okay, about the valley spirit. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Now, it's also self-sufficient and liberated. Our Buddha nature. That's the joy. Okay, or You can say joy. Okay, love part. That's the yeah. You can say the joy part because you don't lack anything, right? You have everything that you could ever want or need. Okay, all right. And then it's also pure, right? Our Buddha nature is pure. It's unstainable, right? We know about that from the what Heart Sutra, where we talked about it, right? Okay, it does not increase, decrease, etc. Okay, and it's changeless or permanent. Okay, okay, those are the four virtues of nirvana. Okay, so it is perfect. Our Buddha nature is perfect, impeccable. Okay, it's perfect. It's no need to be improved. Okay, okay, okay. So the key point is this of this last line is that we should learn the virtues of water. Okay, we should learn about, which is the highest good, right? The highest good is the virtues of water. Learn to be like water, right? As Bruce Lee said, be like water. Okay, okay, which benefit all things, yeah, and not to contend with all things. It benefits everything, and yet it doesn't strive or seek attention or you know or vie for position or whatever or status. Okay, with anything. The water is able to accept dirt and filth. Okay, right? 水可以含污纳垢, right? Go means dirt. Okay, filth. Okay, it can accommodate. Remember, it can accept dirt and filth and still not be tainted by them. 又不被沾染. 沾染 means to be tainted or contaminated. Okay, by them. The water can nurture sentient beings. Okay, yeah, yeah, it just means living, flock, living beings. Okay, and has many applications, just like the virtues are Buddha nature. Okay, so that's the takeaway from this chapter is that our Buddha nature, okay, has innately, okay, or exhibits when it's, when it's being applied or when it's, manifesting, right? It can display those similar qualities or virtues like water, okay, like the seven. So that's what the theme or the topic, main topic of this chapter is, being like water, become like water, right? Okay, be like water, or the seven virtues of the water, okay, or you can say seven virtues, okay, of water. And what are they? Here it is, okay, here are the appendix, okay. It's 水之气的, okay, that's the okay seven, all right. So here it is. The first one, dwelling with the proper or right location. It implies humility, okay. Feeling with great depth is the depth of the character, not a shallow person, okay. We are deeply sincere. We are right, okay, all right. Okay, we have deep compassion, deep benevolence, all that, okay. And giving with great kindness. That means we have unconditional compassion and kindness for all, or mercy, okay, for all. All right. And speaking with great integrity. Okay. We're trustworthy. Okay. We have impeccable or perfect, flawless integrity. Okay. Now we're talking about, okay, we say these are seven. This is a metaphor for our Buddha nature. Okay. And it governs with great administration, i.e., we have leadership. It has great leadership skills. And its universal application with what? Universal universal administration with what? With equality, fairness, and non-bias. Okay, and without bias. Okay, okay, and then when it's dealing with matters, it handles everything with great capability, with versatile effectiveness and flexibility. Okay, like the three different states of water, right? Can be like a steam, okay? It can be like ice, okay? Or it can be like water, right? Different. And it acts with great timing. Not too soon, not too late, being at the right place at the right time, or sense of timing through mindfulness, or you can say awareness or mindfulness. Okay, so these seven virtues of water, you can say, are like metaphors, these seven different qualities, right, or aspects or applications, if you will, okay, is similar to how our Buddha nature is, just as it's like as versatile, as flexible, uh, as deep, okay, as humble, as capable, has great timing, etc., like the water. Okay, or yeah, all right. Okay, so these are the seven. Then there's the four virtues of nirvana. You can look it up. It's from the Mahaprabhu Parinirvana Sutra. Parinirvana Sutra. Okay, talks about that. Okay, so the key is this chapter talks about that. That's why in or at least in Tao Lao Tzu, he stresses, he stressed that we should the way we conduct ourselves, the way we display ourselves, we should try to emulate these qualities of water because that or virtues of the water because that is what our innately our Buddha nature. So it becomes very close. So if we could conduct ourselves, as close to the way the qualities or the virtues of water, then that is what means that we are in this Tao or we are in the Tao, okay, and we are what displaying our Buddha nature the way it is, that the way it really is, and not our human nature. Okay. All right. I think that's everything. And well, it's a long one this time. It's about almost 2 hours, or 2 hours of time. Okay. All right. So that's everything about this chapter. Be like water. So it's a very good chapter. It's very important. All right. So anybody have any questions? This is it. A lot. But okay. So Ty, you got the outline, right? So you guys can distribute it to people.
Yeah, got it.
I also have next week's. All right. So it's long too. Next week is long, so it's a lot to talk about.
Well, next week is Transmitter Lin doing the scriptures. So then you have a week.
Good. Because I have to go. I've just started on chapter 10. Chapter 10 is long too. So anyway, all right. So all right, okay. So we skip a week, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, all right, that's no problem. But then you already got the outline, right, for number 9, for chapter 9?
Yeah.
7 pages, right? 7 pages. Yeah, 7 pages long outline. So there's a lot to talk about in there too. So, all right, very good. So that's everything. Okay. So I'd like to thank the grace of heaven, the virtues of masters, and mercy of predecessors, transmitters, for giving me this opportunity to give this talk. And there are things that I did not say properly. I ask for the Buddha's forgiveness. Okay, that's it. Thank you.